Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lore, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back everyone, and on this episode of Full Dottle, I'm going to be giving my first impressions of Solani Silver Flake. I've went through quite a few VABurs, and now we're going to do a VABur, Virginia Burley. Now, just as with all of my first impressions, I'm going to be enjoying it out of my AKB Tekken Meerschaum. This is a tomato lattice finish. Let's see what Tobacco Reviews says. Solani 660 Silver Flake, an incredible blend of premium dark red and sweet Virginias from the border belt, light yellow Virginia from South Carolina, and dark fired spicy Kentucky. Slow burning, and because no flavoring has been added, this blend has a real tobacco taste. Like I said, it's a VABur. Contains Kentucky and Virginia. The Kentuckys here are going to be dark fired. There is no flavoring, and it comes in a 100 gram tin. So, let's find out what it's like. It comes in a bag. So the bag note, it's kind of hard to smell right out of the bag, but you can definitely smell it. I get that toasted bread from it. I get a lot of those bright Virginias right off. I get that toasted bread, like a yeast bread type aroma. I get a sweetness from it that like a cocoa. I get like a cocoa type aroma from it. Like a I don't know what to pin, I don't know what exactly that smells like yet. It's like a date. It almost smells like the sweetness from a date mixed with a little cocoa and a little bread. Very nice. The flakes feel like they might be just a little moist. Oh, these are big flakes. Yeah, these are big flakes rolled up. Look at that. That is one long flake. I mean, there's several flakes in there, but let me pull out one of these flakes here, if I can. I've actually had this for just a little while. When I say a little while, I mean a week. I just haven't opened it. Look at that big flake. That's probably anywhere from 12 to 14-inch flake. It's a big, long flake. I think it is going to be sufficiently dry. It is just no, I think it's sufficiently dry. Give me just a second to load my pipe, and I'll be right back to light this up to give you my first impressions. Stick around, everyone. All right, we're back, everyone. I've got it rubbed out here and loaded into my Meerschaum. It was sufficiently dry. There's not going to be any dry time required with this. Perfectly dry to load directly into your pipe. It had just a little bit of like an oily feel to it, and that might be because of the dark fired Kentuckys. But at any rate, it's not going to need to be dried. So sufficiently dry. Let's get lit. You get the sweetness from the bright Virginias right off the bat. You get a lot of those bright Virginias right off the bat. That sweetness is in the forefront. You get some of that grassy hay-like qualities from the bright Virginias. I'm not catching a lot of citrus out of it just yet. You get a little bit of the nuttiness from the Kentucky, but I'm not catching a lot of that smoky quality, that barbecue type flavor from the dark fired, but you're getting, I do get a little bit of that woody, nutty type flavor from the Burleys, but it's almost as if it's not dark fired Kentucky, it's just a Burley, but for me, I would say I'm not catching a lot of the red Virginias. The Kentuckys in this, you can definitely tell they're dark-fired Kentuckys, but they aren't as vibrant as what I had experienced in the Cumberland. You don't get a lot of that charred hickory type flavor from the dark-fired Kentuckys in this. You get a lot of the sweetness and the grassiness from the bright Virginias. You get a lot of that nutty, woody from the Kentucky, but it's just not giving me a lot of that barbecue type flavor. It's not, it's very mild. This is very mild for something that has a dark-fired Kentucky in it. It's good. I mean, I could see this becoming something that would be a staple in someone's rotation. But for the reputation of the components that are in this blend, I would say that it's not very deep and it's not very complex. Although it's very good, it's got a few of the different types of layers for those different components. It's got the sweetness and that light grassiness for the Virginias. It's not offering any of the more of the vibrant depth from the Virginias. I'm not getting a lot of that doughy, citrusy type toasted breads from the Virginias. The Kentuckys are not very deep at all on this. I'm going to show you a little trick that I do for moisture in the bowl. Instead of pushing a pipe cleaner down in there, I'll take a Kleenex, cover the tip of the bit, and just do a real quick, swift sip from the stem really quickly to get that back onto the tissue and not in my mouth. I am surprised by this blend that for something that has a more robust varietal, such as the Burley, that it's allowing the Virginias to be the front of this blend. I'm just not catching a lot of the characteristics from the dark-fired Kentucky. To be quite honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in this. That doesn't mean that it's not a good blend. This is an excellent blend, to be honest with you, for something that has a bright Virginia in it. Just like the Escudo, it has more of that Escudo quality from those Virginias. But with the other varietals that's in it, I mean, it's just not giving me that. It's really lacking in complexity. And I would not pay the price that I paid for that blend to have I think it was $26 for a 100-gram tin, and I'm not going to pay that kind of price for something that's going to give me a sweet Virginia when I can get it elsewhere. You can pay $13 for an Escudo and get all the sweet, beautiful Virginias you can handle, and it's wonderful for half the price. Of course, you're getting half of the tobacco, but yeah, not a very complex blend. It's not, in my opinion, it's not very well balanced. But at any rate, I'm going to smoke this down to half a bowl, and when I come back, I'll give you my final thoughts on it. Stick around, everybody. All right, everybody. I smoked the bowl down to the midway point, and now let's relight and see what we find. That's interesting. I set this bowl down for probably 10 minutes while I went and filled the tin up. I tinned it, and then I was looking online trying to figure out a way to be able to date the tin, which there doesn't seem to be one. And I looked at some of the other reviews because of my disappointment in a few things. And it had to have been at least 10, 15 minutes. And I came back and it's still able to be revived. Anyway, so I guess it's a slow burner if you'd like it to go that route. Well, the Virginias are still sweet. I mean, you can tell, let me say this. You can tell that this blend uses tobacco that is of exceptional quality. The tobacco itself is superb, top-notch, A's all around. The Virginias give that light, sweet flavor, a little grass, a little hay. And the depth of the Virginias gives just a little bit. It's almost like a very delicate butterscotch type flavor. I'm getting that whipped butter type creaminess. The Virginias are superb, superb. From the bright end of the spectrum. From the red Virginias, I'm not catching hardly anything from the red Virginias. Just a hint of that tartness, that deeper, darker fruitiness of it. Very, very little. And the Kentuckys are offering a nice spice, but I'm not getting any of that charred hickory type smokiness. Or any of that woody barbecue type flavor from the Kentuckys. It is a very good blend. This is something, if I were getting it for free, I would smoke this all the time. I am absolutely enjoying this smoke. But for its merits, this blend is lacking in so many ways. There's no complexity. All you're really getting is just a tiny bit of the spiciness from the dark fired Kentucky, and then the bright Virginias, although exceptional, are in the forefront. There's no complexity otherwise. The depth of the flavors is lacking. It's very mild. It's almost deceptive. I hate to be negative to it because I'm going to tell you right now, it's aces as far as a tobacco blend. This is an exceptional tobacco, wonderful tobacco. It's not unpleasant to smoke. I thoroughly enjoy it. But based on its merits, judging it by its merits, I mean, it's just not a complex, deep blend. But it's very good. So, my final note on it, you get a lot of that buttery richness from it. The Virginias give you a little bit of grass, and the bright Virginias give you a little bit of grass and hay. A lot of that sweetness from it. I don't catch any of the citrusy flavors from it. As far as the red Virginias, you can, if you really try, you can barely catch a tinge of that red, darker fruits from the red Virginias. And the dark fired Kentuckys are offering just a little bit of spice. I'm going to have to say I'm very disappointed in Solani Silver Flake because I think you could easily find this type of a smoke in another blend that is cheaper and maybe more readily available. At any rate, that's how I feel about it. That's my first impressions. So that's going to do it for this episode of Full Dottle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next time we see each other, I bid you farewell and happy piping. Goodbye, everyone. Have you enlisted in the Full Dottle platoon yet? It's easy. Just click the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.